So we are discussing from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 6, text number 8. Please chant after me. We must remember, the Lord is describing the favorable conditions of practicing yoga. So yesterday we have discussed the sloka 6.7. Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitah shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapamanayo. A person who has conquered over his mind, who is peaceful, has already reached Paramatma, or this is the highest Param Samahita, Samadhi for the Atma. And the result is Sitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu, in happiness, in heat and cold, Sheet and Ushan, Sukha Dukkheshu, in happiness and distress, Tatha Manapamanayo, and in honor and dishonor he remains equanimous, equal. Same thing will be described in different way in 6.8. It kind of more clarifies why a person is equanimous. It more clearly, vividly explains why a person is equanimous. Equanimous means equal. So please hear. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Got it? Why this mic is not speaking? Okay. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma.
Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi.
Samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Kutasto Vijitendriyah.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Yukta iti uchyate yogi samaloshtasham kanchanah.
Okay. Not up to the mark. Not up to the mark of recording. But hopefully you will one day learn. I'm getting reports of 4 hours of hearing. That is very good, but some chanting should has to be improved. So what is the link I gave to you? It more clearly explains why he becomes equanimous. So let us read the translation. Oops. It. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. This point you should note because the two commentaries will explain it differently. And Prabhupada's style of explaining this, seeing the pebbles, stones and gold, is very unique. So we'll see that. But let us first look at the Anvay. Somehow the software is not showing the text properly. It is not Gyasan, Vigyasan. It's just Gyan and Vigyan, so you please take it that way. Gyan Vijnana Tript, that means being satisfied by acquired knowledge and realized knowledge. Acquired knowledge means you are soul. Realized knowledge means you realize that you are soul. Okay? Atma, a living entity, Kutastha, situated in transcendence, and Vijit Indriya. This is very simple. Jit Indriya, Vijit, Visheshena Jit Indriya. Very nicely conquered the senses. That means the senses have no capacity, or at no point of time the senses can control or overwhelm that person. Sense control. Samah lostra, regarding alike. Lostra means pebbles, which are pebbles on the stones. Ashma, Ashma refers to, actually Ashma refers to iron also, but stone also. And Kanchana means gold. So stone, pebbles or iron you can say, and gold, the equals considered equally. Yogi iti yuktah uchyate. A mystic thus is said to be situated in yoga. Uchyate means spoken. So let us look at the Sanskrit. Gyan Vigyan Triptatma. Tript means satisfied, and Atma means the self. When the self of such a person is satisfied by transcendental knowledge which he has acquired from Shastra and realization of that knowledge by his practice of yoga, Kutastaha, then he is said to be situated in transcendence. And Vijitendriya, Visheshena Jita Indriya, his senses are very nicely conquered. There is no scope for senses to go astray, as they said in English. This is pretty difficult. Sometimes others may not know that our senses have deflected, but we know that our senses have deflected. Especially the eyes, even during Bhagavatam class, or Gita class, or any other. Is it not? Sometimes there's a people wear black glasses so that nobody will know where they are looking. Or if they are looking, they will try to hide what they are thinking in their mind. So that is not the state which is being mentioned here. I think it's clear why internally he is fully satisfied in the joy of Atma. That's the point being mentioned here. Na shochati na kankshati. With the practice of bhakti, we actually can experience that actual detachment, actually getting detached. Just like when you take prasadam sufficiently, then you are actually not hungry. Actually. I am stressing the word actually. Just like we hear, by eating food, your hunger subsides. But when you actually eat food sufficiently, then you are actually not hungry. It's not that somebody is forcing you to not eat. It all appears very, impractical. It may appear to a sadhaka that this will not happen to him or her, but it is bound to happen with the effect of bhakti. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam 𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐿. So are you able to follow the lead? How we can become Gyan Vigyan Triptatma? By bhakti. As a person eats, he feels nourished, he feels satisfied, his hunger gets subsided. Similarly, experience of the Lord, bhakti and detachment from matter happens exactly simultaneously as we are doing bhakti. From the first day we are getting some experience of the Lord through hearing about Him, through chanting His holy names. It may be imperceptible in the beginning, but it is there. If there is no taste, we will not do bhakti. Are you able to follow this point? How become Gyan Vigyan Triptatma? By bhakti. We will all translate into bhakti only, not into Nishkam Karma Yoga or Dhyan Yoga. We will not go into that direction. And because the senses are fully engaged in Krishna's service, so he becomes Vijitendriya, and that's how he becomes Kutastaha, he becomes situated in transcendence. Very simple. 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐻𝐶 karmana manasa gira. And in that state, a person becomes situated in yoga. Now, please give me an honest answer. Do you have inclination for gold? Gold, actual gold. No, yes, Sriyans Prabhu, you want to have some gold? Okay, yes, honest answer. But I'm not sure if devotees are really... Okay, some devotees are saying no, that's good. Have you ever developed a desire to get gold? Maybe you got a desire to get a mobile phone, that's a different thing, but Tulsi. Tulsi Mala is enough, yeah. So see, it's happening, and they see there are many people who are very much into gold, is it not? They are spend so much money buying these ornaments and all those things. So some say no, some saying yes. So think about it. Yes. So that's a good advancement. No? Or is it that everyone is not liking gold nowadays? Is it like that? I don't know. Because I'm not interested, so I never inquired into it. But are people like buying gold too much or not? Only in marriage time. More into diamonds. Okay. So let's say diamonds. I say ashma as a stone. Diamond is a stone. So by doing bhakti, naturally we become detached from this. Well, we are interested in golden avatar, but not in gold per se, is it not? Okay, fine. So we see like that. Have you reflected what is the value of false prestige in this world? That is very subtle. So all those desires have to be tracked whether they are actually there in the heart or not, and then we can see we are advancing in Krishna consciousness or not. Very simple. Now you see, these are the things which you have to see yourself. That's why Lord is giving us the standard. So by chanting Hare Krishna, we actually become indifferent. Actual vairagya rises in the heart. You don't care about those things. Don't think it does not happen with people. It doesn't happen with people. People can become quite entangled with these things. Money, prestige and all those things. So what it is indicated here, he basically considers anything material of no value, whether swarga or anything. That's what is mentioned here. But I'm saying some elements are still coming in our heart by the practice of bhakti. Okay, go ahead. Gita Bhushan commentary. A person should be satisfied with knowledge from scriptures, Dhyan. Just like now we are hearing from Bhagavad Gita. And experience concerning the individual Atma, Vijnana. That means by the experience of the happiness which is experience is Atma. So are you able to discern these two things? Dhyan and Vijnana. Dhyan is what you heard from Shastra, and when we apply it, we get realization. He should be situated at all times in the same nature, kutastha. Now it's very clear. Kutastha means unchanging, which doesn't change. It's not that he becomes Atma at 4 a.m. and again he becomes body at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. like that. What does that mean? It means at no point of time I identify with the body. It's a very high stage. He should have conquered the senses since he is fixed only in the Atma, which is beyond matter. Now what does that mean? Very simple. We have discussed this in 5th chapter also. In the realization of Atma, if I am conquering the senses and fixed only in Atma, Atmanishtha, that means I'll engage in activities only which will lead me to self-realization. This is not easy. But at least we are hearing. Only engage in activities which will lead to self-realization. Obviously the body being there, you have to give rest to the body. But are we using the body or identifying with the body? That is the question we need to ask. I always ask this question, that how much do we care about maintaining our bike? Not much. And how much we care about maintaining the body? Mostly we are caring or spending our time identifying with the body, is it not? Because maintenance of the body needs very less. Thought about it, my dear devotees? I hope you don't have any cervical spondylitis. You can nod your head or say no or yes, is it not? Yes. Okay. Don't have to type also, that will take too much of your time. Just say yes or no. Okay, ठीक है. This may appear a very simple point, but this can be a game-changing point in our life. Are we working to maintain our body, or are we working for the sake of working? In our group, one devotee is there who works, and then he prepares for civil service examination. She's a Mataji, and the father is well-to-do. Not that she has to work to eat. So we have no problem, you whatever you wish to do, but not that you just give up dharma, give up chanting and do all those things. What if you die tomorrow? Is it not possible? See the perspective. From the perspective that actually everyone is Atma, not that the Atma who's preparing for civil service examination is some body. That Atma is also Atma, in female body or male body. That cannot be denied, is it not? Can you deny that? 6 hours working and then again studying till 2:30 a.m. in the morning. How many hours is on? Whatever is it, no? Is it not bewilderment? Is it that the human body is for that purpose only? So where is this fixation in Atma? And this is happening with devotee kids. Now what to talk of on non-devotee kids? I feel very pity for such souls. What can you say? So where is the fixation in Atma which is beyond matter? He should see all matter such as a lump of earth, stone and gold as the same. What does it mean? It means there should not be any, how to say, lobh, greed. There should not be any greed for acquiring such things. To maintain the body, whatever is needed is accepted. Such a person who is also engaged in nishkam karma or yukta is said to be qualified for practicing the yoga for realizing the Atma. It means a yogi. So as per Srila Baldev Vidabhushan, he will do nishkam karma yoga, that in a detached manner he will work, but he will also do, this will help him also to practice Dhyan yoga. If he is doing Dhyan and is thinking, maybe I can have a gold ring. Now where is your Dhyan? Fus. Got it? Have we not experienced that? You're chanting, just map it to bhakti, chanting Hare Krishna and maybe I can have that and maybe I can have that. You'll get that. But Srila Bhakti-San Thakur says that just like a person may eat a lot but won't increase weight. You know why? Because he has insects in his stomach. Similarly, these anya abhilashitas are like insects. All his bhakti gets dovetailed in those things. Bhakti should be used for bhakti. You know that sloka we just now quoted? Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. You know what is the meaning of that? One meaning is the person who is engaged in bhakti yoga to Vasudev develops knowledge and renunciation. This is one meaning. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is a very interesting meaning. Prayojita means whose prayojan is prema bhakti. He is engaging in bhakti to attain prema bhakti. That will produce jnana and vairagya very, very fast. We have read that, we have discussed that. But that gives a very clear understanding why everyone doing bhakti is not attaining jnana and vairagya immediately. Okay? This is very, very important. This is explained also in Anyabhilashata Shunyam Shloka, that Uttama Bhakti when practiced gives result faster. Mixed Bhakti will not give fast results. Give, but not that much fast. Bhakti done with any motivation is good. But if we really want faster progress, we must practice pure devotional service. Practice. There may be some other desires, but we are practicing bhakti to get rid of this annabhilashitas. Make sense? We are not consciously cultivating them. Purport. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. Now, please don't take it personally, although I am going to speak personally. So, what is this? I am seeing some devotees who are very good in philosophy. We glorify them left and right. But if you tell them, please leave audio, If you tell them you wake up in the morning and take bath, it is difficult. Now, what kind of Brahmana you are then? How you will develop realization? Now it may appear as a personal condemnation, but it is not like that. It is being spoken out of concern. That if we want to develop mode of goodness, get realization, we have to associate with goodness. We can't just simply talk about it. Make sense? Does it make sense? We can't simply just talk about Shastra and not practice it. Then we'll not have any experience of that. So like now I'm giving this class, and if I'm sleeping, I hope Krishna will not test me, but it's not I'm sleeping till 7 a.m. or whatever, 6 a.m. That is not practice of bhakti, is it not? I can speak, but I have to practice that. And only then you get Dhyan, Vijnana Triptatma. Simple. So book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Atah Sri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevonmukhe 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎𝐒 swayameva spuratyadah. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality and pastimes of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. So, the shloka is very, very, very clearly explaining this point. You please hear. If our senses, not if, all our senses have desire to gratify them, they are kind of covered with a layer by which they are attracted to sense objects. Can you feel that? Eyes want to see some good sense object, ears want to hear that. That layer, if the senses are covered over, we can't experience Krishna. This you are directly experiencing or not. This is how explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji, that service inclined senses can perceive Krishna. Is that understood? The senses which want to serve Krishna, if I put it in that way, they can understand Krishna. I give a very simple example. Any person can chant Hare Krishna, no problem. But a person who chants Hare Krishna to satisfy his senses, he can't understand the taste of chanting Hare Krishna. Is it understandable? My devotees with cervical spondylitis? No? If there is a desire to please Krishna in chanting, then he can experience the taste for chanting. Okay? Similarly, a person who comes to see the form of the Lord as an object of enjoyment, he can't really taste it. But if he comes in the mood of serving the Lord in the temple or seeing the Lord, he experiences a different joy. Are you able to pick up? That's what Prabhupada says when a person is saturated with the transcendental service attitude. Is that this is a very mysterious shloka. Atah Sri Krishna Nam Adi. Atah means therefore you must understand Sri Krishna Nam Adi. What does Adi means? Etc. Nam, Roop, all anything, past tense is not understandable. 6.3.26. A person, Prabhupada says, may be very beautifully put. A person may be Vedic, educated in Vedic literatures very nicely, but he does not even know who is God. Now think about that. And you know that famous discussion of Srila Prabhupada with the so-called theosophists who were preaching about religion, but they did not know who is God. Is it not mind-boggling? They're reading Upanishads day and night, but they don't know who's God. It is actually a fact. One devotee in Bharatpur, she has studied MA in Sanskrit like that, and she told me even after reading Isha Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutra, she still did not know who is God, except when she was reading Prabhupada books. So this is not something which is not happening, or what Prabhupada is telling is only theory. They are not knowing anything about it. That's what we are talking. They may read Shastra, but they have no realization. It's like, honey bottle licking outside, but not getting anything. And that's why I say na bhaved grahyam indriyai. Grahya, it is not caught by the senses, which are material. Sevon mukhe hi jivadau. When a person becomes inclined, oh, I must serve Krishna. Certainly, sevon mukhe hi jivadau. Certainly, when a person desires to serve Krishna, swayameva spuratadha. Krishna manifests his sweetness automatically because he becomes pleased by the service attitude to the devotee. This is one understanding. This is another understanding, that we cannot chant Krishna, but when we desire to chant Krishna, Krishna comes in our senses and manifests himself. This is his mercy. So both the things are there. Okay. So now, have you ever questioned why Prabhupada is quoting this shloka? Suddenly, why Prabhupada is quoting this shloka? Any answers? Prabhuji? Yeah, to become Jitatma. I would say for becoming Triptatma. So, because if you engage your senses in Krishna's service, Krishna reveals that taste, and then you become Triptatma. Have you not noticed? You just surprised. What did I do to have a nice chanting experience in the morning? And Krishna never tells you really what you did, is it not? Just He's merciful. On some days, we are not even trying to focus. Have you not noticed? It just flows. Your chanting flows. So Krishna gives a little sample of what is actual bhakti experience. Little sample. I think all the devotees have experienced it when they did not have a cervical spondylitis. Okay. One devotee very nicely put, he said, even though we are not attentive, but it's tasty. Have you not noticed? Even if the mind is flickering, still you have that nice taste for chanting. Now, is it not that experience of spurti? Automatically the taste for chanting is happening. So how it happened? When you engage your senses in Krishna's service, you feel happy, you feel, at least on those days, you feel at least Triptatma, something like that. So I hope you got the point. Okay. Where we are. This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. Why it is called science of Krishna consciousness? There is theory. Theory we learned. We learned the theory. And now when we actually engage our tongue in chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam, we experience it. Simple. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. Very nicely. One time when a person approached Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, Swamiji, I know all the slokas of Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says, can you live a shloka of Bhagavad Gita for 45 minutes? Actually, he said, I can chant all the slokas in 45 minutes. And Prabhupada says, can you live a shloka for 45 minutes? I'm very happy. One devotee I asked, do you take only prasadam? Yes, Prabhuji, how can we forget 313? I was very happy. The answer is very good. How can I forget 313? Yagyashashtashino santo muccante sarvakilbeche. Very good answer. Very good answer. So you have learned and you practice in Krishna in your life. So then we get realization. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. That means who is living Bhagavad Gita. Not simply talking Bhagavad Gita. I know, which is also good, but not only talking. I remember in IIT there was one so-called ringmate, and he will participate in Vedanta Samiti or something like that. But he also would like smoke cigarettes without any no hesitation. And he very boldly will say, I don't think smoking cigarette is in mode of ignorance. Glorious people, and they are part of Vedanta society. So see, this will not work. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna, because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. Now this is highlighted for this very special reason. Very beautiful. Normally in this world, what is our experience and practice? Anyone renders service to us with some motivation. Please correct me if I am wrong. And we also in turn render someone service with some motivation. Any objections? material life, that's how it is there. So where is the experience of serving someone without motivation? I am holding here so that you can digest this. Where is the experience of serving someone without motivation? And what is pure devotional service? What I am saying without motivation means without ulterior motivation. So what is pure devotional service? Anya-bhilashita shunyam, serving Krishna only for his pleasure. So with the practice of bhakti, when a devotee experiences the joy of serving Krishna selflessly, he becomes satisfied. Got it? Because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. I think let's abstract. I'll give the example which you know. 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 Sridhar, perfect example. 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 Sridhar was a business tycoon. He was selling banana leaves, I believe, banana leaves and what is kaddu called in Hindi, English? Pumpkins. What a great business. And out of that, 50% was given for Ganga Puja. 50%. So that's amazing. And then when Lord Chaitanya asked him, my dear Sridhar, what do you want? Do you want the 3 worlds? You want the 3 worlds? Do you want the any Ashtasiddhis, all kind of 8 mystic perfections? Then what did he say? No, I simply want that Brahmana boy who used to come and fight with me for 2 hours, or quarrel with me for 2 hours. I simply want that every day he should come and just fight with me, quarrel with me over pumpkins for 2 hours. Now, I'll now insert the words of my spiritual master on that. To the degree or the Atma, the soul is purified, it understands that its only need is to love, that means get love and give love. So now is it very clear? Triptatma, example of 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 Sridhar is clear? Simple. So by realized knowledge one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. Where is the example? Tapan Mishra. Tapan Mishra in Bangladesh was studying so many scriptures regarding the goal of life and the means to attain it, and he got simply confused. And what did Mahaprabhu told? Sadhite sadhite jab primankur hoy. You keep on chanting this Hare Krishna mantra and keep on chanting, and this, by chanting this, when the sprout of love of God, which is called bhav, will manifest in your heart, then sadhana sadhatattva janibe sakal. You will understand what is the goal of life and what is the means to attain that goal of life. This is an amazingly deep statement. One devotee asked me a question: how and when a person will realize that Krishna is his only benefactor? So answer, you have got it? By chanting Hare Krishna. He is he's my only shelter. Prabhupada says that humility means understanding that no one except Krishna can protect me. So you see, then he won't be deluded by apparent contradictions. Oh, this Shastra says this, that Shastra says this, and like this. So both have to go on. We have to chant Hare Krishna, we must chant Hare Krishna nicely, and also discuss Bhagavad Gita. What advantage we got by Gyan? We remain convinced. I will do bhakti. I'll persevere in the path of yoga. Is it not happening? Yes. But along with that, a very, very sincere effort for chanting Hare Krishna also has to be there. Obviously, bhakti, Bhagavad Gita also is bhakti, but both have to go on. As Prabhuji says, Gaurang Prabhu, Divya Gyan, Divya Naam. Okay. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. What does this mean? He has realized the futility and the superficial nature of sense gratification. I think this explains it. And he has realized the depth and the satisfaction which serving Krishna selflessly gives to that person. I think this is very clear. By surrendering to Krishna, how much he has become happy, he has realized it. And that's why he is actually self-controlled. Very simple example, Haridas Thakurji was not simply saying, I won't look at Maya. That is impossible. What Maya was presenting, it is mentioned there, even Brahmaji and Shivji would get bewildered. That's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But for Haridas Thakur, it was Aranya Rodan. Aranya Rodan, you understand? Jungle, in the forest, somebody is crying, who will hear? That's pretty heavy. Not heavy, very, very astonishing. We cannot even imagine what Maya presented to Haridas Thakur. We don't have that capacity also. Beyond Apsaras or beyond anything beautiful in this material world. Everything was full force, was targeting Haridas Thakur, but she could not delude him. So answer is very clear, because he was relishing the holy name, relishing Krishna consciousness, being surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. Prabhupada explaining the word kutastha. He remains situated in his relationship with the Lord. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good. Now you see how Prabhupada explains beautifully of samaloshta shamakanchana. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. So you got a very beautiful answer, a very beautiful angle to it. People are so much into mundane scholarships, but he says, what is the value if they don't have love for the Supreme Lord? What is that? No, we have here that Nitai Padokamala Prem 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐚 जिससे संबंध नाही जारा वृथा जन्म गैलो तारा सेई पशु बड़ाद जाचारा. No, but somewhere that comes, निताई ना बोलिलो मुखे माजिलो संसार सुखे विद्याकुले की कोरी बेतार. So a person who has not chanted the name of Nitai, not taking shelter of him, and then majila sansara sukhe, remain merged in material happiness. What his so-called education, what his so-called great aristocracy will help him? So that's very clear. So we all the while we try to map it to bhakti, which is actually relevant to us. So this is what we learned in the sloka today. So one last just revision point, why he is, okay, let us look at the sloka, then we can revise. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma, he becomes tript, he becomes satisfied by scriptural knowledge and realized scriptural knowledge by practice of bhakti. We are mapping it to bhakti. Kutastha, he remains in transcendental state of always being aware that I am a servant of the Lord, I must serve Krishna. And Vijitendriya, that's why his senses are controlled. Yukta iti uchyate yogi, such a person is called in yukta, means engaged, connected. Samaloshta shamakanchana, and he sees equally pebbles, stone or gold. I don't think there are any questions. Okay, no. So shall we stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Tayi Gaur Premanande.